Rafael Devers traded yesterday afternoon in an absolute stunner of a move by the Red Sox, and an absolute roller coaster of a weekend in terms of the emotions of Red Sox fans, given how well the team had been playing, how well the weekend went against the New York Yankees. This has certainly cast a pall over what it was that was going on at Fenway Park yesterday, which was the Red Sox completing a sweep of the New York Yankees. Devers traded to the Giants, no longer a member of the Red Sox, pulled off the team flight yesterday afternoon, returned to Fenway Park in a cab, not a car service or an Uber. No, old school, a cab.
Well, that's
from the airport.
That's easier though. No. You have to go to central parking, and there's a spot, and it's a long walk, and you don't want Rafael Devers walking through, central parking on level B, going over a crosswalk to get to where, we're going to drop you off, and then you got to go catch your flight. Good luck.
There was no one at Fenway to go pick him up.
It's kind of a sign, right?
Don't you think the optics of that were bad?
Yes.
And I think it tells you how little respect
it's a shot
the team had for the player at this point in time.
Maybe he didn't have respect for them, and that's why his ass is going to San Francisco.
I saw that video of the cab pulling up at Fenway, and I said, they let him take an effing cab?
I can't.
They made him go back through security.
There was no member of the organization that could say, I'll hop in a car and I'll go pick him up. I'll go get him.
I mean, they all rode with the two kids.
There's no clubhouse guy. There's nobody at Fenway that can say, I'll take the quick ride over to Logan and go get the guy. No, they sent him back in a cab. They sent Rafael Devers, a guy that a couple of years ago they felt was worth $313 million. They sent him back in a cab. They said, go out to the cab stand and hail one. That's what they did. And I think that it just tells you
he's off their books now. Like, why should they have to pay for him?
It just tells you that they didn't want him anymore. They had very little respect for him. And I also think the optics of him rushing to his car and getting the F out of there as fast as possible tells you how much maybe he didn't want to be here anymore. And maybe both sides didn't want each other anymore. But does that make it the right move for the Red Sox? Does that make them a better baseball team today?
No.
Or 5 days from now? Or 5 months from now? Or 5 years from now? Does this make them a better team?
You're not going to be able to answer that until the 5 month and a 5 year thing. And I think that's really what this is for. And you're always dead set against it. I'm sure you're in shock about this.
Absolutely against this, and have said as much for months about this.
I give them credit for it. I think it takes a lot of balls to do this. You just sweep the Yankees, but I don't think it was about the Yankees and what came together on a trade thing for the weekend. I think they were trying to move this guy for a while. And the fact you got a team to actually take every single cent of the contract, done deal. It's not about the 4 players or the bag of balls they got in return. It was about you found a team to actually take the entirety of the contract. When Costas blew his knee out and it just got shattered, and Devers was hell-bent about not going out to help the team the second time. I was the same way. I'm like, trade his ass. I came in here that day. I said, trade his ass. And I told you guys a month ago that there's something wrong with him inside that clubhouse. Many reasons. And when you got a young, impressionable team, and you're bringing up all these kids, and you say, okay, that guy, and what happened with Cora a week ago, the waving him off. Something wasn't right, and it's obvious something wasn't right. So I give them balls because this is a big piece you're taking away from your team. Right now, you're not a better team for this. You're gambling and rolling the dice that your team's going to come together and you're going to be a better team in the future. Like, okay, Roman Anthony comes in. Whose locker they put him to? Next to? Well, sure as hell wasn't Devers. It was Bregman's. Why is that? Like, Rafi came up through the system. He was a young guy. And this is a guy you chose to pay. You let Betts go. You let Bogarts go. And this is a guy, like you said, Beetle, you wanted to pay over $300 million. He was going to be the face of your franchise. Bottom line is he couldn't live up to all the stuff that comes with being the face of the franchise, like David Ortiz, like Dustin Pedroia, when they gave Pedroia the big deal. The accountability, Bogarts, all of it. Not just doing press conferences and that, but everything that comes with being the guy inside. He just wanted to hit baseballs. He didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah, he was really good at hitting baseballs, though. He was really good at hitting baseballs.
Yeah.
And he's been good at it recently, by the way. And this team has been really good recently. The timing of this deal is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
I don't think it had anything to do with yesterday, though. Like, this is probably done, you know?
But even if that's the case, you should be working harder with a month and a half until the trade deadline.
Did you do the morning show already? Did you do the morning show? Should we go on 98.5 the Sports Hub and just replay his morning show?
Joe, please.
Go. Okay.
Doing this deal yesterday makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. There is absolutely no need to make that trade on the 15th of June. In fact, had they waited 2 or 3 weeks, this team may slide right back into what they were, and they have all the cover in the world to make this deal. This deal was not a great return. This deal would have been on the table right up until the end of July. This deal was going nowhere. This was always going to be there. So they already had someone on the line who called and wanted them and had a package that they apparently were willing to accept. That wasn't going anywhere. And once they had one team committed to taking the deal, why did they not pick up the phone and call several others to get the best possible deal? Why were they not doing those things? And all the reporting from guys like Passan, Buster Olney last night, talking about it during Sunday Night Baseball, said executives around the league said, we knew that if we called them, he would be available for a conversation, that they were listening. They were not actively shopping him. They were listening. They listened to the Giants. They talked to them over the course of several weeks. And then they got to that point yesterday. Listen, if you're going to trade him, you're going to trade him like you did. But why yesterday? Why not 3 weeks from now? Why not 6 weeks from now? Why not in the offseason? Why are you doing it in the middle of June when you just got yourself back into it a little bit? The timing of it is ruthless and, quite frankly, stupid.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. The timing of it doesn't make any sense at all.
We kind of went back and forth on this trip out to Kansas City with Sam Kennedy and John Henry as to which side were they picking here. And at the first, you thought they're going out there to tell them to play. And then you think, oh, they're siding with him because they left Craig Breslow outside the meeting, so they're siding with Devers. I think this leads you back to that this is the beginning of the end for Devers, and maybe he was adamant to them. You know, you pay me whatever you pay me, but I'm not doing it. So maybe John Henry on a flight back said, start shopping him.
This is a Giants organization that is so desperate. They failed on Bryce Harper, Stanton back in the day, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. You knew they had been waiting a decade to land a star. Hell, the Carlos Correa negotiations that they absolutely botched, and that physical ended up failing. They've been dying for that star. So the fact that you had that and the Wings were ready to do that, you could have held that over the Giants for the next month because they didn't have another guy on the market. There's no one who's Rafael Devers who has a top 5 OPS in the sport since April 1st. You take out that first bad series of the year when he wasn't right, he has been a top 5 hitter. It's a guy who's 8 walks away from setting his career high from last year. That's how much he's improved. But you know why you made this decision? Because they don't have a plan, and they haven't had a plan going back to the offseason because they knew on Friday when Wilyer Abreu was ready and they had to make room on this roster, something had to give. The real problem is that Craig Breslow let his ego and his hurt feelings over Rafael Devers lead to him just hitting the eject button instead of making sure he got the best return possible for a franchise star, for an organization that now you don't have Alex Bregman on this roster. He is about to destroy you. He is about to take every single dollar you have in your pocket because you have nothing of a leader or a franchise guy to build around right now. So guess what? When you have to get that deal this, whether it's September or this offseason, enjoy the $250 million contract for a 32-year-old third baseman.
Yeah, I'm not giving it to him. I'll kick him to the curb. Yeah. Bye. Get out.
I wouldn't give it to him either.
Don't care. Don't care about 32-year-old. It's more about Anthony. Like oft injured now infielders. Nope. Good. See you later. Go get that money on the market. Not here.
I think Milliken's right, though. When we talk about ego, and we spent so much time with Rafael Devers and the ego that he has in terms of not wanting to play first and everything like that and being hurt about the third base situation.
So Breslow go do his job better.
Breslow's ego, I think, got in the way in this deal and that fight and him wanting control over this organization. And whatever the issue is between him and Cora, and we heard Michael Holley talk about it last week as well, there's something going on there. And Breslow obviously had an issue with Devers, couldn't get over it. And if Breslow's sitting there and is able to even have a half-baked sell job in terms of moving off of this Devers contract, of course John Henry's going to be on board with that. 100%.
Here's the part that is most disappointing in the last half a day is the idea by the fan base that there is some redeeming quality because of the financial flexibility the Red Sox will be offered. Very disappointing because the remaining money on this deal is $254 million. And if you've been sleeping, wake up, because $254 million in Major League Baseball now is effing pocket change. It's nothing. So, yeah, the owner will gladly sign off on not paying anybody $254 million. It shouldn't have been this guy. And so whatever the issues were between Cora and Breslow and the owner and Devers, someone needed to be the adult and get it settled and move on. Because the bat, and that's all he is a bat, is worth the $254 million that they still owe him. He didn't need to be a leader. He didn't need to play third. He didn't need to play first. He cried a lot along the way. He was a big baby about it, no doubt. Should that have been enough for them to say, we can't have this guy in our organization anymore? No, they used it as cover, and they screwed it up from the very beginning. They mishandled the situation.
They did.
My first thought after hearing that he got traded yesterday was good. Trade the manager with him, because he's proven to be useless in managing these personalities and managing this team. Send him to San Francisco too if you can.